Hi, welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And this is my weekly update, number 66, and it is June 2nd, 2024. So this week, I put a couple bindings on some quilts. I did the Lori Holt, another one of the Quilt Seeds Mercantile patterns, which I did videos and posted that. I finished some more of my sampler cross stitch into fully finished objects, and I did a few other things. Now, I did get a few questions on the last video. Number one was, do I press my seams open or to one side? Well, I prefer to press my seams to one side as opposed to open. However, depending on the pattern, if the pattern tells me to press it open, I will, or if there's a bunch of bulk and I know where the seams intersect, they're all going to be a bunch of bulk, then I will press them open. But I really do prefer pressing to one side and having the seams nest. The other thing is I had a lot of people comment about I didn't look old enough to have a daughter graduating high school. Well, thank you. But yes, I am. I had her in my late 20s and she's still 17. She won't be 18 for a few more months, but I'm definitely old enough. So let's see. So let's get into what I worked. Oh, and I also have a winner picked, and I'll announce that at the end. So let's get started on what I did this week. So I put binding on two quilts. Now they're both Christmas quilts, but that's okay. So let's hang them up and we'll take a look at those. So this is one of the quilts I put the binding on this week. We'll go ahead and take a closer look at it in a minute. Now this was a free pattern from Henry Glass, and this was the pattern I used. Obviously I didn't use these fabrics, and when I did it, my panel on the wall is a wider panel than this, so I kind of cut out this side borders right there to make up for it, to have that bigger panel. So we'll go in, take a closer look at it. So the binding on it is just that darker red, and we're coming down. Take a look at it. The pantograph that I quilted it is just a Christmas tree pantograph. Coming down to the bottom. And these fabrics are tractors and trucks. And let's see if I can find my label. And there is the label. And here is another quilt that I got the binding on this week. Now this is from Crab Apple Hill Studios. I believe it's called 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. And all of this red work in here is all hand embroidered. So we'll go in, take a closer look at it. Okay, starting at the top, it does have a green binding. And it does have that piping right through there. Now when I quilted that, I quilted it with a Christmas tree pantograph, but I had to baste that piping down just so it didn't flip through the long arm, and I had to rip the basting out too. I was putting the binding on. So there we are, coming over there. There's some more of that hand embroidery. And the back has like this red and black plaid. I'll flip it over. You can take a look at that as well as the label. So there is my label, and there is the backing. So I also worked on the Lori Holt Mercantile Quilt Seeds pattern. This is needle and thread. I did this one, so this makes the third one I've done. I have 3 more to go, and then I'm going to sew all 6 into a quilt top. So here's a look at that. Now I did do videos on these. So I made that. And then let's see what else I did as far as quilting goes. I worked on 2 sew sampler projects. The one is almost done. I just have to sew the last top and bottom border on. And I have all my binding ready to sew. That's going to be the binding for this. Like I said, there is the border, that last white border. It's pinned on. I just have to sew it down, and then it will be completely done. And on to the next sew sampler project. Hold on, I'm turning the TV on. There. I set my bag down on the remote. Excuse me. All right, so that one is almost all the way finished. Next time I take it to the sewing machine, it will be finished. Okay, let me fold this back up here a little bit, and then I'll show you the other sew sampler project I worked on. And then that's kind of all I did for piecing and quilting this week. I did not get anything on the long arm quilted. Every time I think I'm going to have time, it just doesn't happen. But I've kind of given up on my quilts, my goal of quilting 50 this year. Yeah, not even close. All right, let's see. So that does mean I have put the binding on 14 quilts this year. I've also quilted 14. So those are where my totals are that I'm keeping track of, how much I do this year. And the other sew sampler project I worked on, oops, that's the empty box for that one, is this swallows pattern. Working on that. So it's kind of hard to envision, but this is kind of the top of all the birds, and there's 12 of them. So I still got some pieces pinned together to sew on next time we go to the sewing machine. So I have all of those pinned together. And these are kind of the bottom of the birds. Like right there, you can see that's the beak. So that's where they are. I just have to do a little diagonal for a stitch and flip there. And these are kind of the very bottom of the birds. Oops. Down there at the belly. And then there's another piece that goes somewhere. But I worked on that. Starting to come together. Okay, so I think that's everything I've worked on as far as sewing and quilting goes. Now I'll move on to my progress in cross stitch. So I'm still working on my Country Cottage Needlework Sampler of the Month. This is the picture of August. And then I'll show you where I am. Still got a long way to go before I finished August, but there's August. And then I took June and July's and finished them. That's July's, June's. And since it is now June, I can take my easel and I'm going to take April off because these are just with magnets and washers. Put my June right there. There's my June. And take off my May. And I can put my July there. So that's where we are. So I did do those. And I'm still working on this cardigan from Leather Co. And this is a sock weight yarn that I'm using. So it is taking a while, but I am starting to make some more progress because I finished the back panel. And now I am working on to the right panel. So here's where we are so far. Working down onto that right panel. The back panel's all done, and then I have to do the left panel and add some sleeves. But it's starting to go a little faster. So that's where I am on that. Let's see, and I am using a G hook for that. And then we come to my diamond painting. So this is what I'm working on with the diamond painting. This is from Diamond Art Club called Protege. And here is where I am. That face is really popping out there. All right, so that is everything that I've worked on this week. Now, let's see who won a quilt. So I did use a random comment picker this morning, and my winner is Diana Evans 9255. So, Diana, I just need you to email me at sewjoquilts@gmail.com. My email's always down in the description box. I might try and put it up across the screen here too. I just need you to tell me your YouTube name and your real name. If it's different than your YouTube name, I need your address, and I want to know what quilt you picked, and I'll send it out to you. I did go back and look in my trunk show, and I noticed she'd also commented in my trunk show about the number 5, the personal library quilt. So if that's the one you want, that's fine. Just let me know and I'll send it to you. If you wanted one of the other ones, that's fine too. Just let me know and I'll send it out. Okay, till next time.